From the Weather NorCal Command Center, this is your afternoon update.
You want to go where to buy a new refrigerator? Steve's A to Z Appliance in Cottonwood? In Cottonwood? Just a 10-minute drive. And they'll save us money. New and used, honest, reliable, factory-trained repair service and parts, and they'll save us money. And dispose of this thing? We gotta make the short drive to Steve's A to Z. Thanks, son.
Steve's A to Z Appliance, front and main streets in Cottonwood. Drive a little, save a lot.
Well, another quick reminder how you can get Weather NorCal YouTube. You can also get it on Roku, Amazon Fire Stick, and any app, whether it's on your smart TV or even on your phone. Just search for Weather NorCal and you'll be able to find it. And all of it will be free. And of course, I did mention you're for your Apple phone and also for your Android device, you will be able to get that app for free. So be sure to check that out here. Take a look at what we've got going on here. This is looking out at Redding and of course just those sunny skies. A little bit of a haze out there, but overall nothing too terrible. Looks like we are seeing plenty of sunshine and not much in the way of cloud cover. Taking a look at your weather headlines, this is what we've got here. No big changes this week. Highs really kind of going up and down through this week. You're dropping, then going back up as we take you into the weekend. And I'm still looking at the potential for some mountain thunderstorms here as we go into this upcoming weekend. Now, before we get into that, let's take a look at our hour-by-hour forecast today. It's going to be another hot day. So we're starting off the week with temperatures about the same as yesterday. We may shave off a degree or two from what we did see, but this is what it's looking like here for today, with temperatures just a little over 100 degrees for most of us in the valley. And for the mountains, I think places like Siskiyou and Modoc County should dodge the 90s, although on the eastern mountains, Susanville, Bernie, and Paradise, somewhere in the low to mid 90s there. Here's your fire potential. The winds were pretty gusty out there yesterday. They're a little gusty out there again this morning. And I do expect that the winds may be off and on. So with the heat and the winds kind of picking up, we do have slightly elevated fire danger out there. Just something to keep in mind when you are out and about. Let's take a look at the rest of the day today. There you can see, the winds in excess of about 10 to 15 miles per hour. So again, nothing terrible. We certainly have seen worse conditions out there. And then as we take you into your Tuesday, there you can see as we go through the afternoon, those winds kind of picking up a little bit stronger, maybe even upwards of over 20 miles per hour. So just something to bear in mind. You'll notice even into the north and east, looking at those winds possibly gusting over 20 miles per hour. So again, just something to keep in mind. We do have some clouds off to our north. We do have some storm systems off to our north and west. Those storms are what are essentially going to help to drop our temperatures down over the next few days. And you can see the peak of that cooling trend. Now, I want to take you back to last week, because last week, the exact same timing as we're seeing this week with the temperatures. The peak of the cooling trend last week was Wednesday, just like this week. In fact, the peak of that cooling trend was around 94 degrees in Redding. Same situation here. Now, temperatures last week, they went back up and they peaked over the weekend. That's what I'm expecting as we go into this upcoming weekend as well. In fact, around 103 to 102 on Saturday, 103 on Sunday, which is about what we saw over this past weekend. But it looks like these temperatures, once they get up there, they may stay up there going into the middle of next week and maybe even longer. We'll see. I mean, it's still about 10 days out, but you get the idea. I'm showing you the moisture content. So the brown and blue colors, that's kind of the dry conditions here. As you start kind of getting into this area here, this is where we're starting to get more moisture in the atmosphere. So let's take a look at what we've got going on. We've got some moisture down here. This is us, where we're looking at fairly dry conditions out there. But notice what happens as we go through the week, and in particular, by the time we get into the end of this week and into the upcoming weekend. We're beginning to see more yellows and greens. So we're kind of going from these colors here that we're in right now to more of these greens and yellows. So what that's telling us is we're seeing more moisture out there. Now, the amount of moisture is certainly nothing to be terribly alarmed about. But it is going to be enough that we could see the potential for thunderstorms. So let's take you through the same time frame as that moisture is coming in and when we expect thunderstorms to develop. So it's going to be dry. I'm expecting it to be dry pretty much all week long. We'll see some clouds kind of coming in from time to time. But looking at Saturday, we are seeing the potential for thunderstorms. Now, if you watch my update this morning and even yesterday, it was showing different areas, a little bit more intensity, maybe even making its way off into Humboldt County and Trinity County. Now this forecast model is kind of backing off on that solution a little bit here, at least the latest forecast model data. Then as we go into Sunday, it's showing some more intense activity, especially in eastern Plumas County, but basically in the eastern mountains, but still some activity out towards Trinity County, even into the mountains of Shasta County as well. And you may recall yesterday, this same forecast model was showing maybe some activity in the valley. Now it's backed off from the valley potential and has it mostly in the mountains. And on Monday of next week, we're seeing, of course, maybe some more activity, especially in the northern Sierra. Maybe it's not as much off to the west. So you kind of get the idea. I think the potential's there. We've got the moisture. We've got the instability, a lot of that afternoon convection that we typically see around here. But the timing and intensity and the placement of all of this, that has yet to be determined because we're still seeing a lot of inconsistencies in the forecast models. But one thing that is remaining fairly consistent here over the last few days is the actual potential for those showers and thunderstorms. But again, that's something we'll have to keep monitoring here as we get closer to the weekend. We don't have to worry about it just yet. We'll keep watching it for you though. Temperature is about 100 degrees or slightly higher than that for the valley today. And as I mentioned, mainly in Modoc and Siskiyou County should stay in the mid to upper 80s. But in the eastern mountains, you're talking temperatures in the low to even some mid 90s out there. Looking at your 7-day outlook, there's the peak of that cooling trend even for the mountains. Now, again, I have not included the chance for thunderstorms over the weekend just yet. Now, maybe in my evening forecast or even tomorrow, I may start including that if I continue to see that consistency in the forecast models. But for now, I'm just putting the clouds in there as kind of a heads up that, hey, you know what, something could happen as we go into the weekend. Let's take a look at your 7-day outlook for the valley. The peak of that cooling trend is on Wednesday, just like last week. And just like last week, the temperatures increase. And then into the weekend, at least for Redding, 100 to 103. For Red Bluff, 97 to 102 degrees. Chico, you may quite possibly dodge the triple digits by this weekend, but it'll be close. 96 Saturday and 99 on Sunday.